to the policy directive that hasn't been issued and the fact that the CRTC has launched consultations or will be launching consultations. And I think it's confusing for Canadians to understand what those consultations about. And I understand that you're going to say that the CRTC is at arm's length, but what do you think those consultations are about if there's no policy directives on the table?
I don't work with the CRTC on what they're doing at that moment. What I'm working on is making sure that I come up with the draft policy as soon as possible. From what I understand is that they're consulting generally more broadly, and that those consultations will be adapted when they receive.
So they're just consulting?
They are consulting on C11, but on the general aspect of the transformational, because there's already a lot of stuff that we know. We know that we're modernizing a lot that should have been modernized a long time ago. So they're looking at that, and then they're going to receive the policy directions. They're going to adapt it to that.
Has there been any political staff that has met with the CRTC with regards to any of the directives?
Not me. No? I don't think so.
I don't think so, or no?
No.
Okay. So recently, I'll tell you why I'm asking. Recently, the CRTC published a webpage. It was called Myths and Facts. I'm sure you've seen it. It's probably come up in your media monitoring since you have made it better after the Lath-Maruth case. On this page, the CRTC called concerns held by the opposition and, frankly, content creators, academics, everybody that we heard that talked about C11, and frankly, they've characterized them as myths. Now, it only takes a little bit of critical thinking to see that the facts espoused by the CRTC on that website are directly parroting the talking points that you have used as a minister on C11. So I want to know if there was any formal instruction to the CRTC on any of this.
No, not at all. And no, but
so was it something that just the CRTC did on its own?
But if something is not, Ms. Lantsman, if something is not true, it's very possible that I say it's not true and they say it's not true because it's not a fact. And I think one of the problems around the debate on C11, if there's a lot of things that were not facts and they have nothing to do with the bill, they're like zero. Freedom of expression has nothing to do with C11. It's a parallel discussion that some people wanted to initiate, so they would not discuss about the bill. The bill is simply asking the streamers to contribute to Kenyan culture.
You could see why Canadians, academics, content creators, everybody that had an issue with the bill sees the CRTC consulting widely without policy directives that you said Parliament would see, and then sees the parroting on a website that is directly the same talking points that you used. You could see why that would concern Canadians, correct?
Well, you can look at it that way, but once again, if there are things that were not true in terms of discussion, and I say that they can say it if they want. I mean, I don't speak to them, and they're totally independent, and I always respect that. It's one of the fundamental things in our democracy to respect the independence of those institutions.
Thank you. Minister, I just want to finish up by talking about funding for sport.